The Rejoice Christian Eagles are back-to-back state champions in Class A Division I. Michael Knight from Prep Red Zone, Oklahoma here, joined by Ray Headley of the OFBCA. And Coach, this state championship started off with some fireworks, an opening kick return for a touchdown for Rejoice Christian, and they really just kind of used that to snowball their way to a 20-0 lead at halftime. Tonkawa made it interesting, though, in the second half, but overall, the Eagles, who started this season number one, they're finishing this season number one as back-to-back champs.
Yes, they did. They started off with a bang with a kickoff return for a touchdown, which snowballed into a couple other touchdowns real quick. Played really great defense. They were very tenacious on defense out there. Number 16, I looked out at him watching it. He had a lot of tackles for losses tonight, and did a really good job. They just played hard on defense. We were really quick up front and caused Tonkawa a lot of problems on the offensive line.
Let's dive into this game. And starting in the first quarter, right after that kick return for a score, Tonkawa had a response immediately. Their first offensive play, running back goes 69 yards, and all of a sudden the Buccaneers have first and goal. But you mentioned that Rejoice Christian defense, number 16, number 8, big game from him as well. I believe Tristan White there with several tackles for loss. Tonkawa gets fourth and goal. Rejoice turns them away, and all of a sudden, that's really where the momentum started, in my opinion, because then they can't really get anything going offensively on the next possession. But on Tonkawa's next possession, they throw an interception to – I'm not even going to try to pronounce his last name. I just call him ZZ, the OU signee, big number 4 out there. He came up with an interception, and that led to a 28-yard touchdown from Cam Nero to ZZ, and that put Rejoice up 13-0. Defense turning into offense.
Yes, it really was. A lot of times, you say in a state championship ball game for people, a lot of times you say that your best defense is your offense being on the field. But Rejoice tonight played great defense. Again, creating some turnovers, and really and truly the turnover battle was pretty even for both sides. But at halftime, Tonkawa came out and really bounced back in the ball game, went down and scored, and got some stops for Rejoice, but then the fourth quarter kind of set in on them. I think they just wore down.
Yeah, and it almost seemed like it was going to be a repeat of the earlier championship game today. Earlier in the day, Talahina jumps out to an 18-0 lead on Hominy at halftime, and then Hominy comes back in the second half, makes things very interesting. While we never got to that point where, Hominy was driving to possibly win the game within the final minutes, we never got quite there. But Tonkawa, give them credit because they never quit.
They never did. We were talking upstairs that, that's the one thing about them. I said, they could have quit early in the ball game when they were down 20-0, but they never did. They stayed the fight and really fought hard to get back in the game, and they got it to a one-score game, and ZZ, number 4, had a big completion right here with a lot of yak yards afterwards. Yeah. Reached out to a touchdown for them and really put the ball game away.
Yeah, I feel like that was kind of the final nail
yes.
in the coffin where, just get the ball out to number 4 in space. He's streaking down the sideline, and he's at that point, he's just faster than everybody else on the field.
Yes, he is. He was a total difference maker on the field for Rejoice Christian tonight. Like I said, they played hard.
Yeah.
Both teams.
And I joked with Coach Marley. It's not really a joke. It's more of a statement. There's a reason why ZZ's going to OU. Like there's when you see that caliber player in Class A football, it's obvious immediately.
It is. It's obvious that he was. Always say he was a man among boys out there on the field, especially at wideout. He's 6'5".
Yeah.
Probably a 4-5 kid. And speed-wise, maybe even faster, but he's got another gear, and he's got great hands. And he, being 6'5", he has the ability to go up and get the ball.
Yeah.
And make plays on it. And that's what you want players to do. Big players make big plays in big games.
Yeah.
I also go back, number 40, the tailback.
Yeah.
He ran the ball. I mean,
Howard.
The whole first half, he probably ran the ball. He averaged over 8 yards a carry.
Yeah.
Just driving the pile. And did a great job running the football, not just, which is a great compliment because they are able to run the football and stay solid in the run game, but yet they still had the passing game to go to at any time.
Yeah, both running backs for both teams. I thought Tonkawa's Lucas Keith, their running back, old school type running back. He had the shoulder harness on the back coming out like a linebacker almost.
And he ran hard. When he got going downhill, he was getting a lot of yards too, even after contact. And I just thought early in the ball game, Rejoice got a lot of stops and was able to turn those stops into points for themselves and then hold on there at the end.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the numbers and it's relatively even. Total offense, Tonkawa actually outgained Rejoice 303 to 287. They also had one more first down than Rejoice, but if you're looking at just the stats alone, and obviously stats are only a small part of it, but here are some big differences. Tonkawa 3 of 13 on third down conversions, Rejoice 5 of 11. On fourth down, Tonkawa went for it 5 times. They only got it 1. Also in the red zone, they were in the red zone 3 times. They only came away with points once. Those numbers right there, the individual numbers are great, but those are the difference-making numbers between winning and losing.
You're right. It is. I mean, the red zone, doesn't matter what you do from 20 to 20. It's what you do inside the red zone. You've got to get in the red zone. You got to be able to punch it in. And that's one thing Rejoice was able to do. Tonkawa struggled punching it when they got in the red zone.
Rejoice Christian going back-to-back as state champions. Last year, they won their first state title in program history. This year, they win it again, this time over Tonkawa. And look, hats off to Tonkawa because last year, I think they went 6-5, lost in the first round, had a long-time head coach that they decided to move on from. Trenton Harmon comes in as the man in charge. And at a program in a community like Tonkawa, taking over a program for a guy who won a lot of games in his history, it's not an easy position, and they had a heck of a season, 12-2 on the year, played a brutal schedule, battle-tested coming into this title game, and they just went up against the team that won it all last year. They won it all again this year, but hats off to the Buccaneers on a great season.
Yes, they had a great season. Coach Harmon did a great job. He come in and had tough shoes to fill. Coach Kirtley always had a great, tough team. They always played hard. And the one thing about Tonkawa Buccaneers is they're always going to come and play hard on defense. They're going to come strike you, And that was one thing that the Rejoice Christians coaches were telling us before the game on the field that, hey, they're going to come strike us, and it's going to be a good game.
Rejoice Christian, once again, goes back-to-back. They beat Tonkawa tonight, 34-13. Coach, you're here with the OFBCA. We got another great event coming up next month, and so glad to be doing this with the OFBCA for all of our instant reaction videos. For the coaches that might be watching and don't know about what's coming up next month, and Shawnee, tell us all about it.
Well, yes, our winter clinic's coming up for the OFBCA, and that'll be January 15th and 16th. We're looking forward to it. We've got a great line of speakers going to be there. Thursday night will be our college night, and then Friday we'll have our 35 under 35 that morning, and turn around, or Thursday morning will be 35 under 35, and then Friday morning will be all high school speakers, hopefully bringing us a lot of great information for our coaches in the state. And the other thing we've got going in the state is our MOCA, our Minority Association, which is kicked off really well. Coach Franklin at Millwood's done a great job getting that started for our state.
Talked with him about it a few times last week on the instant reaction videos. Talk to me more about the 35 under 35. I think you guys are in either year 2 or year 3 of that initiative. Just talk about the decision and what's been the reaction to it, because you want to bring up a new generation of coaches, and I think that's what it's all about.
That's what it's about. It's getting these young coaches that are under 35 years of age, giving them some quality material to take with them throughout their career and help build them up so that they can become part of our associations and lead when us old folks here, like I am, are gone and retired, So that's what we're trying to do, give them some tools that they can use in their toolbox for their career.
It's off to a great start. I loved it when it was first announced. Granted, I was biased because one of the guys who was named on that I graduated with, grew up with, Howard Scarborough, shout out. But, it's been great to see the growth of it over the last 2 years. You mentioned the Minority Coaches Association with Coach Franklin heading that up. Really excited about what that's going to do for the state of Oklahoma. And, like he mentioned last week, it's not just for football, it's for all sports. And it's not, he pointed it out great. Like, minority just doesn't mean African American.
No.
It could mean female in a predominantly male sport. It could mean male in a predominantly female sport, whether it's assistant coach or whatever it may be. So it's a great opportunity to, again, continue to expand the game and expand the net around Oklahoma.
Yes, it is. It's a great opportunity for coaches to network. It doesn't matter where you come from. A lot of times you're in inner city schools. It's not always the African Americans. It's a minority. Mm-hmm. So minority involves all races.
Yeah.
And so that's what we're trying to get to with that is, get everyone involved. And for overall, our association has done really well at building it. Our football coach association, we're almost to 1,000 members.
Yeah.
In our Oklahoma Football Coach Association. So that speaks a lot for our association. And we back these other two associations, the 35 under 35 in Mocha, and help promote them at the same time.
Looking forward to it in January in Shawnee. Again, check it out. If you're on the fence, give it a try. Again, this is if you're a football coach, this is different than the summer clinic with the OCA. It's just about football. It's football all the time for those 2-3 days in Shawnee. Coach, thanks so much for joining us. Always happy to do these instant reaction videos with any of the coaches from the OFBCA. These have been great. Looking forward to more state championship football the next 2 days.
Ought to have a couple of great games tomorrow. Vian and Adair coming to town at noon, and then you got Washington Jones coming in the evening game, and that ought to be a great war. There's two good football teams that are powerhouses that are going to get after it and bloody each other's noses.
Both games tomorrow featuring number 1 versus number 2. Of course, Vian losing in the state title game a year ago. They got their revenge a little bit last week, beating Davis in the semifinals. And then in that 2A1 game, you have Jones looking for a perfect season. Mm-hmm. Some people think maybe they've been the best team in the class, but to be the best, you got to beat the best. And the best has been Washington. They have 3 straight state championships. And then, of course, Saturday, the main event, Lincoln Christian and Sulphur, as well as
Tuttle and Elgin.
Tuttle and Elgin, 2 main event games taking place on Saturday. I can't.
Those Saturday games are 2 repeats from last year.
Yes, and they were great games last year.
They were great ball games.
So I'm crossing my fingers. I can only hope they're as good. For Coach Headley, I'm Michael Knight. Once again, the Rejoice Christian Eagles, your back-to-back state champions. They win it tonight, 34-13. Keep it locked in to our YouTube channel. We'll have instant reactions for all the state championship games. We'll also have game highlights featuring post-game reaction from the winning head coach as well as some players. For Coach Headley, I'm Michael Knight from Prep Red Zone, Oklahoma, and this has been the Class A1 Instant Reaction.